Hi, and welcome. We're the Weasley sisters. I'm Jessica, also known as Naturally Nitty, and this is episode 234.
And I'm Allena, also known as Starnitz. Today is November 8th. This is our bi-monthly podcast and a planning podcast. So if you are a first-time watcher, welcome. If you're a returning watcher, thanks for coming back.
Yeah, so grab your knitting and craft along with us.
Yeah. So it's the end of the month, or the end of the term. So all the advanced studies are needing to be turned in. Your order mission, you have 10 days. They need to be turned in by November 18th. Everything else is the 31st. And I'm not sure if there's going to be another Quidditch match. One just ended yesterday, so.
Crazy.
Yeah. And I'm kind of annoyed because, not annoyed, I'm annoyed with myself because I started spinning this fiber blend, which we'll talk about in a regular podcast. And I turned it in for detention because I finished it after the first. And then I was looking at Quidditch, and I could have turned it in for Quidditch.
Oh, that's sucky.
Yeah.
Couldn't you go? Oh, but it's too late. As I say, couldn't you go back and like retract it from detention and be like, just kidding? That sucks.
But I didn't. So, anyways, yeah. Now we'll go on with the classes.
All right. So first up, we have astronomy. This month, we will focus on Europa. It's the smallest of these four moons, but it is still almost as big as Earth's moons. Its surface is highly reflective, making it one of the brightest moons in our solar system. An interesting feature of Europa is that it's covered in ice. Since it never gets warmer than negative 260 degrees Fahrenheit, the ice isn't surprising. But below the frozen surface, Europa has a liquid ocean. Ooh. The ocean isn't heated by the sun as the oceans as on Earth are, but by the tidal forces caused by Jupiter's huge gravitational pull. Will water heated by tidal pressures instead of solar power have a different effect on your potions? As you investigate this theory, your assignment this month is to make something to keep you warm while contemplating the bracing 260 degrees temperature negative 260 degrees temperature of Europa's frozen shores. So craft something to keep you warm. Spinner's yarn crafted for this class should be DK weight or heavier.
Cool. So
Great.
pretty much anything that you're wanting to craft,
Yeah.
right now, which most people are wanting to craft hats and mittens and scarves and sweaters. Those keep you warm. So you're good to go.
Yeah, all sorts of things.
So, okay. Up next is charms. Gemino is an interesting charm for several reasons. The copies tend to rot or tarnish more quickly than the original object, and only the original caster can stop the multiplication of the object. For today's lesson, we want you to pick something that you could use at a feast and Gemino it at least 2 copies of it. Please remember to end your charm so we are not swept away with multiples of your homework. Prompt. Create 2 or more identical copies of the same object to use at the end of term feast. Non-rivalry crafts would be accepted if they fit the prompt. Prior approval is not required. And then I went into the FAQs and copied those so we could go over them. So the first one is how many copies can I make? You need at least 2 items total to complete the prompt. For this class only, items that would normally form a pair, like mittens, mitts, socks, slippers, etc., will count as 2 items. 2 socks can fulfill this class prompt. More than 2 is acceptable, but less than 2 will result in a partial. Do I have to make identical items, or can they just be similar? Successful Gemino charm will create identical copies of the original items. Your item must be as identical as it is possible to be. In other words, same yarn, same color, same size, same design, same pattern. Bobby socks are not acceptable. Can my useful items be something to wear? Yes, clothing is useful at any feast. However, you are certainly not limited to clothing. Almost anything useful. Sorry, almost anything can be useful at the feast. Just tell us how. The next question: would you accept dyeing 2 skeins of yarn in the same dye bath? Yes, as long as it's the yarn are also the same fiber, weight, yardage. What about spinning? Spin 2 or more skeins of identical color, weight, ply structure, and fiber content, please. Can my socks be mirrored? Yes, provided it is an identically mirrored one. A mirrored cable with an otherwise identically mirrored sock mitten knit, such as this, and they link to it, is also acceptable. Sometimes the Gemino charms misfires and gives us a mirrored copy. We are working out whether it is a subvocalized at the end of Gemino or a slight wiggle on the last stroke of the wand. So that's all your questions for you.
Cray.
So I've been knitting cowls, and I have a couple that are like the same yarn. So I will be turning that in for the Gemini.
I'm doing the same thing, though I made most of mine last month, and well, I don't know how many more I have. Anyways, but no, that's cool, and it's nice that you can use 2 socks. Anyways, all right, moving on. Divination. Deja vu is a form of the last type of vision that we will be studying this term. Foresight. Foresight is a flash of vision that warns you of change. It is the ability to predict what will happen or needed in the immediate future. Scents, colors, dreams, music, and taste can all help trigger foresight. Your assignment this month will be to create quick flash of a project to develop your foresight abilities. Did you see a glimmer in your future? Be sure to let us know. Craft something in a flash. Total crafting time should be less than 1 hour, or total crafting yardage should be less than 100 yards. Non-Ravelry crafts will be accepted if they fit the prompt. So that's fun, just a quick project. Though most knitting things take longer than an hour. Even these cowls that we're making, I think take me about 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, like if I sit down and knit them. But
Yeah.
the skein that I've been using is 110 yards, so I use up the whole skein.
Oh, okay. Um. Anyways, but I don't know. But that's still like you could do. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Maybe you could crochet something in an hour. Something real small. As I say, most things take more than an hour. But 100 yards or less than 100 yards is doable as well. You could do a chunky hat or mine. These are 109 yards, but I don't use up the whole skein. I wonder how much I have left over.
You could weigh it and find out.
I don't know. Anyways, but easy enough, right?
So next up we have flying. There have been quite a few wizards who are quite talented at flying magical creatures. One of our sorry, my screen goes off of the thing. One of our lot that has made his life's work to work with magical creatures and fly them is Charlie Weasley. Charlie is here to recount the flying techniques and skill used in the Second Wizarding War. So hopefully we never have to engage in such a war. However, I cut out all the However, I want to hear at the end of this month how you approach flying with new ideas and tools while developing new and updated mechanics. Assign your assignment. Your challenge is to craft an item that would help Charlie Weasley win such a war if need be. So like in the thing they're talking like Charlie is talking about stuff, so well that's kind of cool. So that's like pretty wide open as well. Just gotta tell a story about it.
So you just have to craft something that would help him
Win another wizarding war. But he flies dragons, so
okay.
You could spin something and say it's a lasso to
I guess
uh,
so.
a bridle or something to help hold on to the dragon or whatever.
I guess I should go read the prompts a little more. All right. Herbology. Mistletoe contains ferrotoxin, which can cause seizures and blurred vision. I expect you to exercise extreme caution with this dangerous um, it cut off. You will each be given a small amount of antidote to common poisons. Well, I'm sure you'll be very careful to protect the health of your pets and fellow students. It's always best to be prepared. For your homework, craft in the colors of our holiday decorations, red, white, and dark green, or craft something to keep your antidote safe. Non-rev crafts will be accepted if they fit the prompt. Cool stuff.
Yeah. So that's pretty easy too.
Yeah. All Christmassy colors. Coolio.
Which is appropriate for this time of year as everyone's starting to try and get all their Christmas stuff done.
I know. Well, and like Thanksgiving's like 2 weeks away, which is crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah. History of magic. Ghosts are weightless and may fly in any direction. Usually their color is a silverish gray, but occasionally a ghost can also be white or have other colors. For your homework, we want you to let us know something about your favorite Hogwarts ghost, be it Professor Binns or Moaning Myrtle, or maybe a ghost that you have discovered and is yet unknown to us. Tell us your ghost story and submit it with your project. For the month of November, submit ghostly projects by either using or producing cobweb weight or lace weight, or alternative by crafting in silver, gray, or white.
I like gray.
So that's nice because generally projects knit or crocheted in lace weight take a long time, at least in my experience.
Yeah. There are some people who can knit lace things real fast.
Yeah, I guess
And if it's
like
your only project, but yeah, not many
so yeah, so having the color silver, gray, or white,
is nice.
but that's really wide open as well.
Mhm. All right. Magical literature. Mer People, a comprehensive guide to their language and customs. Here is a most interesting book written by the celebrated wizard and linguist named Dylan Marwood. Did you know that Mr. Marwood was fluent in the language Mermish? Thanks to the author's works and writings, many wizards have learned Mermish, which in turn facilitated a cross-cultural exchange between mer people and wizards. We have brought a lake full of mer people here for you to observe them up close. What you are seeing is actual footage from Mr. Marwood's book and research, lent to us by a special permission from the Mer people. We already know that the Mer people live underwater. By studying the Mer people more in depth this month, we have much to learn about them and how they relate to us in the wizarding world. For your homework this month, craft something inspired by Mer people. Your crafting may be inspired by shape, color, or some other characteristic of Mer people. We are studying Harry Potter universe Mer people specifically. Needle-based projects, needle-based non-ravelry projects will be accepted without prior approval.
That's cool.
So that's fun.
So you need to dust off your Fantastic Beasts book, not the play or the original screenplay, but the like actual book and read up on mer people, or
Yeah.
go to Harry Potter wiki.
Well, because they're not pretty. They're not like the pretty mermaid stuff that we all think of when you think mermaid.
Yeah, but that could be fun.
Could be. Or
So,
I'm sure you do stuff like with water and
or in like greens and browns because they're like that.
I was gonna say I'd have to look up more stuff, but yeah, definitely different colors that
Like their
associate.
hair looks like seaweed. So you could almost do like if you do a scarf that has like you know how some of those scarves have holes and they kind of look like seaweed. You could do that. You could do like you could do an art spin.
You could. That would be very mermaidy, I think.
That would be fun actually. Um, so yeah, and that's going to be a fun class. Transfiguration. For our last lesson of the term, we will focus on transforming non-living objects. Professor McGonagall was a huge Quidditch fan and was quite a Quidditch player during her time at Hogwarts. Unfortunately, her Quidditch career was ended by a nasty fall during her final year as a student. She was also very sentimental about her students and loved to remember them by looking through some of their earliest transfiguration projects, like Hermione Granger's needle that was transformed from a match. This transfiguration was a perfect way to make something old into something that she was able to use. I'm sure that all of you have objects in your lives that you've had for a long time but have not used. In the spirit of Professor McGonagall, we want you to find an old object and transform it into something that you will be able to use or cherish. For your homework this month, we would like you to use old yarn from your stash to make a new object. In your submission, please explain why you consider the yarn or fiber to be used to be old.
That's fun.
Yeah. So I pulled out some bats that I made a while ago that was from fiber that I just had hanging around. I pulled it out because I was thinking I might take it to the give and take table, but I might spin one or two because it's fiber that's been sitting around for a while that I don't think I'm ever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's encouraging to like pull out old stuff because we all have old stash, or most of us do, anyways.
So that's a good one.
That's
To our regularly scheduled podcast. Do you have any mojo?
um, I think I finished another cowl or two. I haven't like woven in the ends. I don't know how many I showed last week. Um, but yeah, that's about it. I haven't been too crafty this week.
Okay. I also so I went to Joann's and bought some clearance yarn,
Yeah,
and I made a couple of cowls, and I sewed in the ends of these ones. This one I have not sewed in the end, and I'm working on its match.
well, you're just special for sewing in your ends.
Did it because I was thinking about turning it in, but then I remembered I have 13 of these to make, so I should wait for more and get a yardage bonus for turning in two at a time or three even. Yeah.
No, that's smart though.
But yeah, so that's what I'm making. They're going really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
Yours
I
look longer than mine. How many stitches are you casting on?
so I don't have 15s, and I didn't buy needles when I was at the store because I didn't think about it. And so I cast on 77, and these are not super bulky yarns; they're just bulky.
Okay.
I cast on 77,
They still look comfy and nice.
yeah, and I still got in the 4 repeats.
Yeah.
And like if you look, like I use the whole skein. Like here's the beginning, here's the end. So I like use the heck out of this skein, which is not because who wants a bunch of little tidbits hanging out?
Which is what I'm gonna have.
You could make one of those funky Rasta hats or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Um, See, mine, I think I only cast on 47.
Well, the pattern calls for 57. And when I got there, I was like, that looks really small. So if people are chunky like me, it won't really fit around them. But
Well,
see,
maybe, well, I wonder what pattern. Maybe we're finding a different pattern. Like I was following a pattern, but like I went to go find it and it's like for sale now. When like years ago I made it, it was a free pattern, which is why I made it because I usually don't buy too many patterns.
Well, yeah, I saw that too when I went to re-download it, but it was in my library, so I was able to download it again.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, and it was from free, and now it's $5.99.
Yeah, and I was like, that's a lot of money for a cowl.
Yeah, and
Like
it's
a not complicated one, which I just went and looked at my pictures and I figured it out from my pictures, you know.
so this is the so I'm working on the fourth one, and I have 13 of them to make.
No, that's okay. I'm gonna try mine on because um,
Give them to the
they're
teacher.
smaller than that, but they still
Oh yeah, that's nice.
whatever, right? I don't care.
How many repeats does yours have?
Um, 4. So
Oh,
five rows of the garter stitch and 4 of the drop stitch count part.
mine
Um,
too, but yours looks well, is yours super bulky or just bulky?
um, I think it's just chunkier. No, it's bulky. 109 yards,
I think we're using the exact same yarn too.
which is funny. And what size needles are you using? We are. We're so dorky.
I'm using 13s.
Okay, so I'm using 15s, which I don't know if I talked about here on the on the podcast. Um,
Anyways,
I lent my needles, my 15s, out to a friend, and it must have been years ago because I have. Where'd it go? I have my needle case, like old school from Knit Picks, but I have my Addy Turbos in here. Anyways, if I lend my needles out, I put a note to tell me who has them because otherwise I forget. I forget where I put them myself. I should probably put notes in there. Anyways, so I texted my friend and she's like, I have not knit in like 2 or 3 years, but I will look for them. And I was like, don't stress over it. I get it. You know, it's not a huge big deal. Um, so I went to our local yarn shop, which we just recently got, maybe like a year ago or so. It's downtown Sheboygan.
by local, she means super local, like maybe 5 miles.
Yeah, like yeah, super super local.
I'm super jealous. Do they have knit nights? You should go to knit
They
nights.
do, but they're on Wednesdays, which is when the kids' youth group is, and I'm doing the childcare. Though I have off a couple weeks, so I might start going. Um, anyways, um, so I went and I was like, I'm gonna support my local shop because I've gone in there a few times, but like I have yarn, I have stash, and I don't need to buy anything. Like there's just nothing I really need to buy, usually yarn wise, unless it's like acrylic for gifts, hence this kind of yarn. Anyways, but I wanted to support them, so I went and I got some Knitter's Pride needles. Uh,
Oh, are those wooden ones?
they are, and I was a little worried because they had Addies, but they didn't have the size 15s. And she's like, "These are all we have. They're wooden."
Oh, they're so
Um,
pretty.
But they're smooth. Like I was like, because like usually wooden or bamboo, they get like stuck on yarn, and I'm a fast knitter, and I do not like it when it gets stuck on the yarn. But these are smooth, and they're green, and they're nice, and I like that they have it written. I don't know if you can tell, it's written on the metal too.
Oh no, that's cool.
And this is wearing off after like knitting 8 cowls on them, but super smooth and nice in hand, and it's perfect for these cowls, the 24-inch as you can see. But yeah, but they're green, they're pretty, they have a decent point, and I'm pretty happy with them.
So, that's just crazy. Like how much fluffier yours look. The same yarn, just one size bigger.
Which is weird. You would think like the bigger would be looser, or maybe I'm just a tighter knitter. I don't know. It's crazy.
But I mean, yours just looks fluffier.
Yeah,
The pattern calls for size 15s,
yeah, it does.
but
Um,
that's what I cast on more.
but yeah, I cast on 47. I do 3 rounds of garter and then a row of double yarn overs. Though your yarn over rows look a lot bigger. Maybe I should do a triple yarn over.
No, I'm just doing double.
I know, but mine don't look as wide. Whatever. It's not like it matters. I don't care. They're a gift.
Right. And they're going to be worn, and that's why I bought the acrylic yarn on sale because
Oh, exactly.
people are going to wash.
I
So
love wool. Like wool is my best friend, especially now in winter. And I'm loving all my hand knit sweaters because we've been keeping it cold in the house. And see, I have one on right now. But like I get so cold and it makes me feel good, like I'm saving money. And then I go and put my wool sweaters on and it makes me warm. Sorry. Totally random.
on to the regular podcast. Are my whips are these towels, but also I'm still working on my brown sweater
Yes.
because, like we were talking about, we like sweaters made of wool. But I'm at the part. One thing I hate about these kind of sweaters, you just knit and knit and knit, and you never get anywhere.
Sure you do. Put a stitch marker like a
Yeah, a progress keeper. I should.
so that you can see your progress.
But I haven't really been knitting on this much because I've been doing the cowls.
I like that. I think I might want to make that pattern.
Yeah. So
Um,
that's what I'm working on.
I I also have some socks that I started a few weeks ago. Um, they were by Supernatural Yarns.
Ooh, I love her.
What it is now? We talked about that last time. She was Hermione Jean Creations, but she switched. Anyways, I'm making them footies. So I started. I had the toes. Oh, I like cannot hold this properly. And then I'm doing like a flat part, and then I'm at the part where I'm going to make a heel, and then I'm going to pick up and knit around. So it's just like little footy socks.
Cool.
Um, but I wanted to do a fish lips kiss heel. Fish lips kiss heel. Is that what it? Yeah. Anyways, and I printed it out. Like I bought it. I think it was like $1, like years ago. And I went to like print it out before I went on the retreat a couple weeks ago. And there's like 10 pages for this one heel thing that like goes on and on about different things. It's crazy where you can like have your foot on a cardboard and blah 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 to like make the perfect heel. It makes sense, and I read through it, but I was like, ugh, I just want to do the stupid heel.
Well, if you have it as a PDF, you can email it to yourself to your Kindle app.
Oh, that's smart.
Put it on Google Drive, and then you can just pull it up on your phone.
That's smart. I should have did that. Anyways, I haven't done the heel because I've just been lazy. I'm also knitting on my Hermione sweater on the arms that I ripped out. So that's the right side. But because the main part of it is knit, like a pearl is on the outside, I switched the arms inside out so that I could just knit them because I don't want to purl all the rows.
And you don't want to see either, so.
Right. Yeah, and I'm doing it in the round because, yeah. Anyways, so
we're all about lazy knitting here.
Right? Lazy knitters for the win. Anyways, I ripped it out and re-knit without like, see how the yarn is like kinky?
Yeah.
I didn't wash and reskein and blah, 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 because, who needs that? So the fabric looks all wonky, but I'm hoping with blocking, it'll be just fine.
It will.
Number 2, originally, the arm decreased every other row. So I thought to myself, I'm going to decrease every 3rd row, which I did. But now I'm thinking it's still too much because I still have about 8 inches of ribbing to go. And I do not like the shape of it. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to rip back again and do every 4 rounds.
That makes sense. Sucks, but makes sense.
But I also am a little irritated because, well, with Fair Isle, your gauge is tighter. So, like, you can see, let me hold this a little bit. You can see, like, the Fair Isles here, and then it switches to just knitting right here, but it, like, poofs up, and I don't like that. But to, like, avoid that, you go down needle sizes or
decrease.
But that's, like, even past, like, where it's separated for the sleeves to the body. So I don't even want to mess with that.
Oh, so like you would have to rip from the bottom up.
And I'm not doing that.
Which is why I'm just reknitting the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. So I will reknit the sleeves one more time. This didn't take me too long. I'm doing 2 at a time because that's how I do everything. But yeah, so I will have to re-nip that out. So that's been like sitting for like almost a week now, right next to my chair, like glaring at me. And then Tallulah got into, I'm pretty sure it's Tallulah, got into one of the balls and like played with it. She's so sassy. She has like this month, she like is totally fine and leaves all my yarn alone for the most part. And then there's like a month or two out of the year where she goes crazy over yarn and I'll find it like all over the place. And a lot of times it's like hand spun. I had like sitting up over here.
Are you sure it's Tallulah and not Ollie?
I'm pretty sure because it happened before we had Ollie too. Anyways, that's sitting over here in a timeout because I don't want to rip it out again, but I should because I want to wear it. Anyways, she got into. I had like a bobbin that wasn't fully like left over from flying hand spun, so I wound it into a little tiny cake. But like it was like spread all over the house in the morning. I'm like, oh, you sassy, sassy thing. And then she just like walks around like she hasn't done anything. She's oh,
That's what cats do.
she's naughty. And then once in a while, I'll find just a skein of yarn like sitting somewhere else, like some of my hand spun. But then normally, like for 99% of the year, they leave it alone. They don't touch it. And then once in a while, like I'll find yarn in random places. It's really strange.
Any other whips?
Sorry. I'm like all like blah, 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 blah. I don't
You
think
said you
so.
were doing a shorter podcast this week because we podcasted last week.
Yeah, no. I'm good. I think that's it. My towels, the socks, and that sweater. That's it.
Spinning? How are you spinning?
I haven't. I need to start and spin my last skein of yarn for my newts, and I just need to get it out and do it, and I just haven't. But maybe since I'm not knitting that sweater, I can do the spinning now.
Yeah. So I am sampling my fin. You see it right there?
Yeah.
I spun it, and so I'm end plying. I'm gonna end ply half of the bobbin, and
Okay.
then I'm going to try a 2-ply. I think. Um, I might actually try a cable ply. I haven't decided yet, but I'm actually liking it as a 3-ply. So
Cool.
I just do an end ply for the whole thing because essentially I'm sampling this fiber because I want to spin like a sweater out of this fiber that I processed.
You could always leave just like the very end of it and 2-ply that just so you have a little bit, like a couple yards to compare it.
Well, and I mean, I've only sampled 3 ounces, so it's not like a ton.
Well,
Um,
it's insane though, like just to check and see. I mean, because I like 3-plies a lot too, but you never
I
know.
like 3 better than 2-ply, so I'm thinking I might just not Navajo ply at all, because then I can use the actual skein when I finish. So like so when you are processing wool, you get these nups. So it's not like the most even spin, but when I'm Navajo plying, it seems to be evening out, which is nice. So I don't know if you can see, if I
Yeah,
hold it closer, you can see it's not super, like it's like kind of thick and thin, but that's because like there's nups in there. I mean, it's not problem. It's going to look like a tweed yarn when it's finished, I think.
yeah. I mean, you can usually definitely tell hand spun yarn, especially hand processed hand spun yarn. But like, one of my favorite hand knit sweaters, it was a processed one, and it's Elizabeth Zimmerman yoke one, and it looks all tweedy like that, and it has the nups. And at first, when I was like spinning it, I was like, oh, this is gonna suck, but no, I love it, and it's just got a little bit of texture to the knit. It's great.
Yeah. And but this is like, this fin is really nice. Like if you've never spun fin, at least this fleece that I got is super soft, and it's like you spin it and it spins fine, but then as I'm plying it, it's like puffing up. So I think when I wash it, it'll puff up even more,
That's cool.
which is what you like, a rounder yarn. At least I like.
Hmm.
Have the Shetland 3 ounces of that set out to start spinning that. I just haven't done that yet. And then my newt will be finished because I finished spinning the vest, and then I dyed it and it's dry. So it looks black, but it's actually like a really dark espresso brown. So,
Um,
and it's like so soft.
are
So
you like not wanting to make it for Andy now? Like I would totally want to keep the yarn.
there's about 858 yards is what I got. It's about a 10 or 11 ply. Um, so it's exactly what I was aiming for.
Awesome.
Um, and it's nice and it's a 3 ply, like a true 3 ply. So it's nice and round yarn. And I'm gonna make a sweater vest for him. So I just need to knit it. So it's CVM Romleydale that I blended with some alpaca,
Hmm.
and it's super soft. It's gonna be super warm, and it's squishy.
It looks awesome.
It's super nice. So it turned out really nice, and it's funny because I dyed the original fiber that I'd spun with the same thing, and it's a brown, but like you put the stuff in, and when it exhausts, it's like a light purple, and you're like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Like when you're mixing the dye up.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I also spun. So then after I finished processing my um full and turned in my 75% of my newt, I still had the fiber processing bug, which I actually always have, but it was like in high demand. And I took a video or a Snapchat to Jessica, and I showed her all of my fleeces, which,
Oh yeah. And I just kept laughing because the videos kept going and going and going.
yeah.
Sorry.
So I have a lot. So I pulled out some Lincoln Borderleister. Like I got a fleece at Maryland Sheep and Wool a couple years ago, and I cleaned it, probably for a newt or an owl. Um, I cleaned it because I got that, a Cormo, and something else. And then I had gotten for like $15 from someone alpaca fleece, like processed alpaca, like roving kind of, um, for like, and it was this beautiful gray. So the Lincoln Borderleister fleece was a gray, white gray. Um, Really pretty. So I blended them together and then I spun them up, and this is what I got. And it's because I was like, the Lincoln Borderleister is like a longer staple length. It gets kind of ropey. It's not like next to the skin soft, but alpaca is. So I blended them together because I thought they would go well together. And then this is what I ended up with. And it turned out really nice. I just did a 2-ply, and it was about maybe 5 ounces. I got 246 yards of a 2-ply.
Very cool.
So if you can see like that,
Hmm.
it turned out really nice. And it's got like a nice halo, and it's fluffed up. It's super soft. Oh yeah. It smells really good because I put it in soak and then dried it. So. But yeah, so that's what I was spinning. And this is what I should have turned in for Quidditch, but I didn't.
That's a bummer. But still, that's pretty. I really like the colors too on that. Gray.
And this is just natural. Like I didn't dye it or anything. So super pretty. So I think this would make a really nice sweater if I continue to blend the rest of the fleece with that alpaca. So yeah. Anyways, which just kidding, it wouldn't be the rest of the fleece because I have maybe like a pound of the alpaca and it's like maybe 4 pounds of fleece. So I'm not gonna. But anyway, yeah.
Awesome.
It was just fun kind of like playing. Like I kind of wished I had one of those huge Carter things and I could blend it all together.
Yeah. It definitely takes a lot of time blending different fibers together. I actually, for this sweater, this was my CVM Romneydale blend sheep that I mixed with
Yeah.
something. Oh, I think faux cashmere. Anyways, like I think I passed it through the Carter like 4 times. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Lincoln Borderleister isn't processed at all. It's just cleaned.
Okay.
And so I have to run that through like 3 times to get it so like fluffy. Then I run it through with the alpaca, and then I run it through again to blend it even more, and then I run it through like the 3rd time before it's like the bat is where I wanted like consistently mixed. And I
Yeah.
think maybe like a 60-40 blend. I probably could play around with it and do like a 70-30 maybe even. So yeah. Anyways. Um, Fiber dreams, owning my own mill.
That'll be way fun.
So, anyways, or like I could own the farm and you could own the mill, something like that, and we would live next door and have wonderful times together.
I would want the animals too.
One person.
We could co-share everything.
Anyways, next up is weaving. Have you been weaving anything?
No, but I think I said this last time. I have plans, and I pulled out yarn to warp up my loom because I really got the weaving bug last time when I made that scarf like in 2 days for the gift exchange that I did. But I went. I was at Walmart the other day, and every time we go to the crafty section, like the girls like looking at stuff, I always want to get more of this crochet that thread. There's about, I think it's 1,000 yards. Yeah. In this little thing, it's pretty fine. But the last time I made dish towels, and I warped it with this, and then I used just cotton for the weft. But I picked up this because I wonder if it's a lot different. Because at Joann's, they have cones. Maybe it's, they have the other one. This one's peaches and creams. What's the other one? Sugars and cream?
Yeah.
Um, it's like twice as much at Joann's, these cones. So I don't know if the weight is different. Maybe they're bigger there now that I think about it. Anyways, I bought one. I want to make some dish towels as Christmas gifts for Dad and Mary.
Oh, that's a good one.
Picked this up the other day. So I have plans to weave. Because they have like she's all about the beach and stuff, and I figured this colorway is very
Peachy.
beachy. It's got blues and greens and seafoamy
And
colors.
that I think would look. I know you're doing dish towels, but I think that would look really good in their bathroom.
Yeah, that too. I mean, they can put them wherever, whatever. But I don't know. I just think it'd be a fun gift for Christmas, so I picked that up. But that's it. And
So
it's something simple and easy.
if you look behind me, you can still see that
I do.
hanging out. But I will eventually weave those rugs. They're just, and I was actually thinking if I do them this month, I could do them for the repurpose one.
Yeah.
Because I'll be using old t-shirts. Anyways, but I totally got distracted in the Slytherin Weavery thread. They're doing a Slytherin Houndstooth weave along. And I think they have it written up. There's at least one or two people who are trying to do it with a rigid head-all.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
And I'm super excited. I'm debating if I'm going to use some sock yarn that I have. Like I have some Allena Shea Creations sock yarn, like in gray and green. Or I have some worsted weight yarn, and then I was thinking it would just be wider, and then I would sew it together and have like a big infinity cowl, houndstooth awesomeness. I'm a houndstooth for whatever reason. Like when I got the loom, I was like, that's what I want to weave, houndstooth. So I'm excited. So they're kind of doing it, and I like was in there asking a bunch of questions because I'm still new at the weaving thing. And there's Hypercycloid. She's super nice and explains everything.
That's awesome. I need to check that out a little more because I've had my loom for a while and I weave like plain things, but I've never really done a pattern or made anything super cool. But I like the plain simple weave, but I still think it'd be fun to do the houndstooth.
Yeah. So that is
out.
Check out if you're a weaver. The Slytherins are doing a houndstooth along because we're awesome.
That is fun.
So yeah. Sewing, of course, we're sewing. Have you done anything special sewing?
No, not since we last talked.
Okay, and there's no gym. So let's talk binging.
Okay.
So I have been like forcing myself not to watch shows. So I haven't really been binge watching any shows. But I started this book called Swords and Scoundrels, And I thought it would be like piratey things. I didn't really read the back of the book or the synopsis. And it's kind of good. I'm kind of liking it. I'm not like super attached, if that makes sense. But it's about a brother and sister, and they're like swordsmen or something. And
Okay.
it's like a alternative universe. It's pretty interesting. So we'll see.
Cool.
I'm still not in like a series.
I'm on the Kitty Norval series still. I listened to a couple. One, I forget where I said I was. There was one. I think I don't know. I'm on Kitty's Big Trouble, but one was Kitty's House of Horrors, which I liked that one a lot. I think because she wasn't around Ben at the time. So like it was just her and friends and stuff. But then there's another one where like Cormac comes back and it like irritated me a little bit. Not that I want to give stuff away. So then I put it down and I didn't read any for a bit. And then I picked it up just yesterday. I started listening to I think the one after that, which is Kitty's Big Trouble. I don't know. They're interesting enough though, and I like them. I think my issues with who she's ended up with, like, is stupid of me. I don't know. Or maybe I'm just mad, like, that the author made it seem like she was going to be with whoever and she's not. And now there's one big happy friend, family, and blah. Anyways, it annoys me, but for the most part, I like the stories. But yeah, it's a good
My
series.
biggest problem is you could tell she was attracted to Cormac, and then
And she still is, but she's married.
I know, and that's the thing. And then she's like with Ben, which is his cousin, and I stopped in 5. Like I haven't read 6 and
I've
1.
gone past it. I forget what they're all called, but like, I don't know. Like, I think it,
I
like,
think that's what
Ben.
bothers me. It's because she's married to him, and or she's well, I haven't gotten that she's married. She's gonna get married to him, and she still has. I don't know. I think if you're marrying someone, you need to be committed to them, and
Well, I think, well, and the reason, like, it's because they're mates, because
settle.
they're werewolves.
That bugs me the most. She like settled for him, and I'm like, you shouldn't.
Yeah, it annoyed me too. And then poor Ben, because he's a good guy.
Yeah, and
And
that I feel really bad for him, and I'm like,
but
this.
they're still happy together. Like throughout the books, they're still happy. But I just like in the back of my mind, it annoys me.
Yeah,
Like the author probably didn't. This is my guess. Didn't know where it was going to go with those first 2 books, and then like totally changed course. And I'm like, boo. And then she added something about Cormac, like in the last book or 2, that really irritated me. So
okay,
I was like, you make me mad.
yeah. So it just makes me mad too.
And
Like,
then,
and I just haven't read past it, but
anyways, so that's what I'm on. But it's making me miss Mercy because I love Mercy Thompson. So I need to maybe listen to those again after I'm done with.
did I send you any of the Janine Frost?
I don't know. I have to check.
I might have to send you some because those are pretty good too.
But no, I mean it's still good. I like get lost into the story, so it's good and it helps me craft and clean the house and do laundry and stuff. So, it's all in a day's work. I can be a little pissed off that it didn't go my way.
Right. No, yeah. So that's why I've been trying different books. So this Swords and Scoundrels one, I was like, we'll see um, if I like it at all.
Well, there was one that I read.
Kind of hoping like for pirates, like Hook.
It's not pirates. You should have like looked for the word pirate. Uh, let me look real quick. I know I read something. Hold on. Oh, so I started the Lunar Chronicles.
Oh yeah.
I listened to Cinder. I don't know if I talked about this. It was probably like a month ago. That was pretty good. I also but I don't know why. I think I just couldn't find the second book. So I just like moved on to something else. Hold on.
But like theirs aren't really like second books. It's like
Oh, isn't it?
series, and they come in. You
Same
get
universe or whatever.
character crossover, but it's like about a totally different.
Oh, okay. So
Like Cinder's in the second book. I forget what the second one is called, but it's a totally different story.
That makes sense.
So it's not like Cinder's not the main character.
Okay.
She's like a secondary character.
It was good though. Like I had always put it off. You had told me it was a good book, but I was always put it off because I'm like, I don't need to read a stupid Cinderella story. Like I've seen it, you know, like I know what that is. But it was still interesting take on it. No, there was another book that I read. Oh, I don't think I talked about it. So The Accidental Werewolf. Have you read those ones?
No, I
You
started
sent it to me, and then like Witch Slapped or something. Like they're by the same author, but like completely different books. Um, um,
the voice of the narrator annoyed me, so I never got into it.
they were like, it wasn't anything serious, and it was just kind of funny. But The Accidental Werewolf, it totally reminded me of Mom a bit because she like sells, I forget what the cosmetic company is, but she's like this total like high strung, like I'm gonna go sell makeup and skincare to people, and like that's all she cared about. It was kind of funny. But then she becomes a werewolf and has to deal with like shaving her legs like 3 times a day. It was like so stupid. It was funny and amusing. It was just like one of those dumb books
I
that
might try listening to it because I like funny.
have no meaning.
I downloaded some of Janet Ivanovich's, like One for the Money, which her books are pretty funny. So.
Okay. And then the Witch Left one, totally different character, same author. I forget who the author is.
Dakota Cassidy, I think.
Okay. So what is that one? Oh, she like I forget what happens, but the girl gets her witchy powers taken away, and she was used to like talking to ghosts and stuff and solving crimes, but or maybe not crimes, but like people's problems. I forget. I read it a month ago or listened to it. But like somehow a ghost contacts her and blah blah blah. So she is doing it again, but without her witchy powers. And that one was a little bit more, I think, a little more interesting than the werewolf one. But anyways, they were
That's fun.
nothing to like cheer about, but they were still fun enough and short. But yeah, so I'm still on the kitty books. I'm not really watching anything yet. That's about it.
Yeah, so I have been watching Bones slowly because I'm on the last season, and I don't want it to end.
I know, and it ends.
I'm like, I should know this because I read the books, which the books in the series are totally different, but you know they end. So
right.
But I started watching Hemlock Grove. I talked about this last time?
Say that, yeah.
And I'm on the second season of that, and I kind of stalled out because I get to this point where I'm like,
I think I watched that first season, and then I started to watch the second one, and I was like, wow, it's weird.
Yeah. So, and also like sometimes I'm just like, you are in high school in an imaginary world because you're a werewolf or whatever. But I really don't care about your problems because you are not an adult, and there are different. I don't know. This is my thought process in like young adult books and TV series. So I'm just kind of like, yeah, like you're acting like an adult, but you're not. Anyways,
I don't even know
because I have teenagers who do that all the time. Anyways, this is my personal problem. But I started rewatching the second season of Man in the High Castle, and that is a really good series on Amazon Prime. Super good. But yeah, so and then I like kind of like watched like House, like a couple episodes of House, and I had no idea that the actress who plays Emma Swan on Once Upon a Time is in House. Like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I haven't watched that. He's like a mean doctor, right?
Yeah, like he solves like these crazy things and
little mysteries.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then I started watching The Closer, which has Kira Sedgwick in it, and that's pretty good too. But yeah. I only like watch one or two. No, like when I'm like done working and I need time to just knit, so that's what I do. Or spin. But yeah. So we're randomly talking about binging. I last Sunday, um Rags Fiber Art, it's in like kind of Pittsburgh. It's before Pittsburgh. It's in like Greensburg area, which is a suburb of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
He had a spin in, and so that's where I got most of my spinning on my Noop done. So that was a lot of fun. It's just fun to go and spin a whole day and just talk and spin. Talk, people,
That's
spin. I'm a dork. But yeah.
very cool. Randomly, I didn't fill out any of our show notes, so I don't have anything putting down. I don't know. I've just been kind of blah this week. After I got home from my retreat, I kind of like haven't done much.
Yeah, because you're not with people.
Which is crazy. But yeah, today's Joe and I's anniversary.
Happy anniversary! What number?
16 years.
Oh.
But yeah, also, so he took this whole week off and he's hunting
of course.
and stuff. Like, which he only drives like half hour, 45 minutes away and then comes home. So it's been nice having him around. I think we're going to go out to eat either for lunch or dinner. I'm not sure. But yeah. Oh, and Leah has the chicken pox. She had the vaccine when she was, whatever age, little. So it's like not bad at all, but like she's itchy and she's not really sick. She had a fever like one of the days before it like showed up. But I'm keeping her home and she's home today still, like this whole week.
What did the doctor say?
I didn't take her in. I self-diagnosed.
So like you could put that like oatmeal bath.
She's taken one, yeah. I've researched like it's once all the pox scab over, then it's not contagious. So basically I'm just waiting to be able to send her to school so she doesn't infect other kids. Even though it's rare for them to get it if the vaccine has been given. But I mean there are those people who haven't, so I'm just doing my part.
Oh well yeah, you don't want to get
her home.
But you could watch it so it doesn't turn into shingles.
Yeah, no, it's very mild. And I'm like, you should be lucky, like, because I remember it just being like horrid and painful. She's like totally fine, except she's a little itchy. But yeah. Crazy.
So we are just rambling, so we should probably let everyone go.
Yep.
We will talk to you guys in 2 weeks. And hope you craft as much as you can, and Slytherin can take the house cup.
Dude. All right.
Bye.
Bye.